Big deals and big cancellations. We'll talk all that and more. This is not PTI. I'm Broshmo, but I guess I should do the intro. What's crack-lacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. Without further ado, I guess let's get into the video. I should have a mock draft out today, so enjoy. But we had big deals, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and big cancellations. And we'll get into the cancellations in a minute, but North Dakota State, they went ahead, they canceled their season. Now, what are Trey Lance's options? Because he is deemed probably the third top quarterback in the 2021 draft. And he could opt out for the season, but I don't think that helps. I think he will widely still be considered maybe a top 15, top 20 pick if he decides to opt out, or even if he wants to play in spring. I mean, you have nothing to gain, I think, in my opinion. I think he really should transfer to one of these Power 5 schools. Obviously not the Pac-12 and Big 10, because, well, they postponed their seasons as well. So what are his options if he wants? Because, like, let's be honest, if he goes to a Power 5 school, even just for a season, I think he does well, you really nip it in the bud of a ton of critics that are like, well, he played at a lower level of competition. If he comes and performs well in that higher competition, I think you could get a guy that could get into that Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields discussion. So a couple of places I was thinking of, we could start with the Big 12. I think the Sooners are a good option. I mean, they've produced first rounders such as Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. I mean, they even made Jalen Hurts a second round pick. So they really elevated these guys' stock. I mean, for 3 consecutive seasons. So he gets to go there and just be a gunslinger, because I think he averaged a little over 18 completions per game at North Dakota State. He wasn't really asked much to win with his arm, and I mean, he was so good at winning with his feet as well. But in a Big 12, that's literally, it's a pass happy. So I like the idea of him maybe going to the Sooners. Okay, well, let's talk maybe the SEC. I think the Tigers, they currently have an opening. I mean, Joe Burrow, he was elevated last season to being the first overall pick. So, but I mean, it's not too unlike. I think you're working with a lot better talent on offense when it compared to Oklahoma, who just lost CeeDee Lamb, and they only have Charleston Rambo probably there. Opposed to that, you have Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall on the roster. I think it's just you're with a team that really, they're just a signal caller away from potentially repeating. So that, and you're playing the SEC, considered the toughest conference in all of college football. You do well there, then yeah, you're instantly in that discussion for top overall pick. And then here's one that I kind of like with the ACC. I would say Florida State. You got a new head coach in Mike Norvell. I mean, he's got a very quarterback-friendly offense. Granted, it's a bit gimmicky coming from Memphis, but I mean, still, you get to work with a guy like Tamarian Terry. Granted, you don't have the best offensive line, but he's got probably the best wheels among the best wheels at quarterback. Trey Lance does, and plus, you're still facing quality competition: Miami, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Clemson, even Virginia Tech. So I think that's a fun option. I think, but probably Oklahoma or LSU are his best options at that. So let's talk about big 10 and Pac-12 cancellations. They're pushing their stuff to the spring. Obviously, I don't know if I'm recording. Oh, good, I am. Woo, that would have sucked. But they're pushing their stuff to the spring. Really depends on what the NFL draft does, because they can push back they could push back the draft to at the latest June 2nd. So even if they have the spring season, it'll give guys time to, you know, I guess be drafted. You know, I imagine they won't be able to do a combine. They won't be able to do any off-season bowl. So like a senior bowl or whatnot. And I don't see that being a really viable option for players that plan on coming out of the 2021 draft. So a lot of these guys, I think, either transfer or opt out for the season. So I think there's a few guys hurt by this. I think two of the biggest prospects are prospects that had a ton of potential. They could shoot themselves into the first round. Talking about Penn State's Jason Owe and Michigan's Kwity Paye. Those are two guys with tons of athleticism and upside that just really needed to see the production this season. Now they won't get that chance. They probably have to. They're probably just gonna end up going in the 2022 draft, where they probably will be first round picks, because those are two monsters. So I just don't expect those guys to come out, even if they did partake in a spring season. I mean, so much can happen. Like, if you get hurt, bam, instantly, there's no time to recover. Your draft stock is shot. So yeah, I don't see the luxury in that. Guys like Nico Collins, you really wanted to see more production out of him, but I don't think his stock's necessarily that hurt. I could still see him as a third or fourth rounder. I think it's guys like Iowa's Smith Marset, who really, he honestly, his eligibility is done. He either plays a spring season or he just opts for the NFL draft. But the guy just needed to put on a little more weight and show that he could probably get off the line a little bit better. So I don't think he's too hurt. You've seen what he could do on the field. He's electric. So I guess I'm not too bothered by that. Some people say Justin Fields, this hurts his stock. I don't think so. Him and Trevor Lawrence kind of opted out, still go 1 and 2. Guys like Baron Browning, who wasn't a full-time starter and played off the edge, but probably going to be playing linebacker the next level. He's just big question marks. Patty Fisher, who had a breakout season in 2017 and then kind of dudded last year, really needed a season there too. We needed just a banger of a year to kind of elevate his stock. You could talk about big guy I'll end up talking about later, Frank Darby, Walker Little, who I don't know what this does for his stock, because you just want to see him become a better pass catcher. So I say pass catcher, pass protector. And you kind of saw that down the stretch of the 2018 season, and you saw it in the senior season opener in 2019, but you kind of wanted to see it for a full season. I think a guy like Joe Tryon from Washington, he's very, I don't want to say raw, he's very underdeveloped as a pass rusher. He doesn't do a lot of things, I think, well. And I think it's more from a technique perspective. And a lot of times he runs at bad angles, or he just runs to a point where he gives himself out of position. So you'd probably want to see him be better at that before you spend a draft pick on him. So yeah, there's just a ton of guys here that I think really their stock got hurt. Sean Wade, I think honestly, for Shaun Wade, you needed to see him be able to play on the outside. Now, I think if he's going to be drafted in the first round, they're drafting a guy that they plan to play at safety, kind of in a box role, and in the slot. They kind of want to keep him around the line of scrimmage and maybe keep that in your back pocket that, okay, maybe he can play on the outside too. So I think that's how they're looking at him. But let's talk about big deals, man. Obviously, you got the tight ends. Travis Kelce getting big contract, 4 years, $57 million extension. You had Kittle getting the 5-year, $75 million extension. This kind of sets the bar really, really high for tight ends. But I mean, luckily those two. I mean, I don't think you're gonna see guys like I don't think you're gonna see a Mark Andrews get that type of money. Is he worth it? I don't necessarily think he's worth not 75 million, even 57. I'm a bit hesitant on. I'd probably give him closer to what Hooper got because I didn't think Hooper deserved that much. That's good coffee. But you know what? Kittle and Kelce, they are consistent playmakers for their offenses. They're the best at their position. They totally deserve it. They're totally worthy. And then also we had Dion Dawkins get a 4-year, $60 million extension from the Bills. I kind of view him as one of the more above average left tackles in the league. But to be fair, the offensive line, it's really hard to find guys that are just average nowadays. So I'll give him benefit of the doubt. I think he's a very solid player. And it's not like he's had really a big down year ever, but he's just super consistent. So I say, hey, not bad. That's not a bad deal. Kenny Clark did get his as well. I'm pretty sure I think it was 4 years, 70 million. Yep, 4 years, 70 million. The man getting paid. Good for him, man. Good for him. He deserved it. I was kind of wondering if they would give him money. Because they also have other guys they want to they need to, like the left tackle is like I can't always butcher his name. Bakhtiari. Not bad. Second names. So they do have people they do need to get paid on the line. I guess he's actually the only one because they let Ryan Bulaga walk last year. So there's that. Also the 49ers with Travis Benjamin opting out. All you in Deebo Samuel, you don't know when he's coming back. I think that it sounds like maybe like week 4 to 6. But the 49ers, they added receiving help. They added JJ Nelson and Avon Austin. Just some other stuff we got going on here. I know Mike Daniels signed with the Bengals. Everson Griffin signed with the Cowboys. I think that's a really good one. I was pretty surprised at. And that's the only ones I could think of at the top of my head. Excuse me. But let's go ahead. Let's get in to the next one. We're talking about Severand. I don't know. This is a guy I didn't even I wasn't even checking out for the draft, you know. I guess he played at Oklahoma State at some point. I mean, I was more of an AJ Green guy, I guess, but yeah, this guy, there's a video of it out there. This guy trying to sneak a female visitor into the hotel room. I mean, this is just wild. She was wearing a Seahawk gear. She was wearing Seahawk gear and attempted to disguise her as a player. That's so whack. That's so wild. I mean, and the dude got cut for it, unfortunately. Like, I say unfortunately, but You just can't do that, man. You can't. He's trying to sneak a girl into a hotel room. Come on, man. As a great segment would once say, come on, man. So what are the ramifications? He just cut Kima Servan. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but doesn't mean much. I mean, little known rookie, cornerback. He was probably a long shot to make the practice squad. So don't mean much. I don't know. I didn't even evaluate this guy the past draft, so can't really tell you much about him. But Texas, baby, it's back. It's back. Texas football's back finally. Oh, they signed top junior. So we're talking 2022 commit quarterback Quinn Ewers, I think is how you say his last name. He wants to stay home, so he ended up committing to Texas over Oklahoma, over Ohio State. This is by far the biggest recruit in Herman's era, I guess. This era of where every year it feels like Texas is back. Oh, LSU, horns down. Bring your horns down, everybody. Yeah, no, it's great, but I mean, he can decommit at any time. I mean, keep in mind, he's a junior, so he's still got this year and then next year to play. So Herman might not even be around, depending on how the season goes. So I mean, I guess congratulations. I don't know. I don't watch high school football. I'm not that deep into it. You can say the high school football around my area is okay, I guess, but it's nothing like in Texas. So I don't know too much about the guy, but it looks like he put together the most talk about sophomore for a quarterback at Lone Star State, blah blah, since Kyler Murray. He's 6'3", 205. Okay. So he'll probably put on some weight eventually. Passer rating he completed 72.4% of his passes as a first-year starter, throwing for 4,000 yards, 45 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Holy moly. And then he went through the playoffs averaging 356 yards, 17 touchdown passes without an interception in 4 games in the playoffs. And he also rushed for 568 yards. Well, not half bad. So I guess we'll see. But let's talk about training camp, because I know that's what a lot of people want to talk about. Everyone's so excited. Football's back. Yeah, football's back. So just a few things going on in training camp. Talking about Cam Newton making a good first impression with Bill Belichick. I'm pretty sure when they were like, oh no, this is definitely a quarterback battle. Sure, right. You were gonna hear that, Cam Newton's really impressive. He's a starter. Of course you're gonna hear, he's really impressive, because he was always planned to be the starter. Dalvin Cook, he says he wants to be a Viking his whole life, so good for you, buddy. Despite he'll get a deal. I don't think it'll be as big as he thought it would be, but I'm glad. Also, let's see. We got the Raiders. It looked like Damon Arnett was running as a starting cornerback in both the nickel and base defense for the Raiders. So it looks like him and Mullen will be the starters there. Assuming, we're just making assumptions at this point. So, we also have, looks like Aubrey Jones is looking for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Looks like he's going to take on the Calais Campbell role of potentially kicking outside and kicking inside. I don't know. Looks like apparently he got leaner, so good on you, buddy, but Khalees Campbell, that's big shoes to fill. I would just stick to the interior. And then we have the tight ends, Kenny Vaccaro. He left midway through practice, didn't return. He wasn't limping or nothing, so it might not be serious. So, yeah. Let's see. Ooh, this is actually kind of interesting. Safeties coach said he could see the Titans using big nickel. Oh, big nickel 3 safety look. So Amani Hooker. Everyone knows. Okay, I already knew that. Jeez Louise. But yeah, if they're gonna use more of a 3 safety look with just having a big nickel, it's probably gonna be Amani Hooker. He's that good. Get the boy on the field. Darius Slay sounded like he had a rough practice. Where he was beat on multiple one-on-ones, most notably against Deshaun Jackson. Say, oh no, he's having trouble with speed. Oh gosh, oh golly gee. Or you could say they just opened training camp. Calm down, Darius Slay is a really, really good cornerback. Probably you could also say this, Tom Brady, he gets picked off in practice by Mike Edwards. By who? Mike Edwards. And then he starts talking up the defense. But I mean, honestly, that team's going to be very great. Like they're going to be fun to watch. Like I loved that defense, Tampa Bay's defense at the end of the year. Jameel Dean to me was like just to put on a banger of a half of the season. There we go. But yeah, man, like there's a lot. It's fun to see training camp like just starting, and seeing the news that comes out of there. Like there's nothing I would say that's notable, and there's just kind of like you're looking at stuff, making assumptions. Like you can look at, oh, Bryce Love, man, he might get a large portion of that Redskins carries in the backfield. We're just honestly making assumptions at this point, but for me, it's just great to see these guys take the field. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. And that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.